Imagine this for a moment. You wake up to silence, the kind of silence that makes your heart race, because it's not peace, it's emptiness. No land in sight, no voices, no food, no water. Just endless waves stretching into infinity. And the chilling awareness that death is circling closer with every passing hour. Could you survive? Tonight, I'm going to tell you one of the most unbelievable survival stories ever recorded. The story of Tammy Oldham Ashcraft, a young woman who found herself stranded, broken, and alone in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, and somehow managed to live for 41 days against all odds. September 1983. Tammy was only 23 years old, a free spirit from San Diego, with adventure in her veins and the sea in her soul. By her side was Richard Sharp, her 34-year-old British sailor, who had spent most of his life chasing horizons. The two of them were living the dream most people only imagine, sailing across the South Pacific, island hopping, exploring hidden lagoons, and falling asleep under skies painted with 1,000 stars. Then came an offer too tempting to refuse. A simple yacht delivery, a 44-foot luxury vessel named the Hosanna, to be sailed from Tahiti back to San Diego. For seasoned sailors like Tammy and Richard, it seemed like the perfect adventure, another chapter in their story together. At first it was everything they imagined. The Pacific spread calm and blue around them. The days were filled with laughter, music, and long conversations about the future they planned to build. But the ocean, as it always does, had secrets waiting. Unbeknownst to them, far out on the horizon, a monster was brewing. Hurricane Raymond, a category for beast, was gathering strength, building walls of water and winds that screamed like banshees. As Tammy and Richard sailed north, the skies began to darken. The once gentle wind sharpened, cutting into the sails. The sea rose, restless, growing higher with each passing hour. There was no safe harbor, no chance to outrun it. They were caught in the crosshairs. By the time the storm reached them, the Pacific had transformed into a battlefield. Waves 40 feet high crashed over the yacht, slamming the vessel as though it were nothing more than driftwood. Richard took the helm, gripping it with white-knuckled determination. Tammy rushed below deck, trying to secure supplies before the worst hit. Then came the sound no sailor ever forgets, the roar of a wave taller than a building, bearing down on them with unstoppable force. The impact was like an explosion. The world shattered into chaos, and then blackness. When Tammy finally regained consciousness, 27 hours had passed. She was bruised, bleeding, and barely able to move, her head pounded from the blow. The Hosanna was broken, the cabin half flooded, the mast torn away, the sails shredded, the electronics dead. No GPS, no radio, no way to call for help. But the worst discovery was Richard. He was gone, swept away by the sea. Tammy screamed his name until her voice broke, but only the sound of waves answered. The man she loved, her partner, her reason for hope, vanished forever. Now she was completely alone. The yacht was barely afloat, but Tammy refused to surrender. Her supplies, almost nothing. One small bottle of water, a few scraps of food, that was all. But she was resourceful. She tore strips from broken sails to fashion shade from the burning sun. She rigged a crude system to collect rainwater, storing precious drops in jars and bottles. Every sip felt like a miracle. For food, she improvised. With nothing but safety pins, rope, and sheer determination, she created a fishing line. On the 10th day, she caught her first fish, raw, slimy, uncooked, but it kept her alive. Each day tested her resolve. Blistering heat burned her skin. Salt water stung her wounds. Hunger gnawed at her. Thirst twisted her body in agony. Loneliness clawed at her sanity. And yet she kept moving. She studied the stars to guide her course. She patched the boat where she could. She spoke to Richard, sometimes pretending he was still beside her. That illusion gave her strength. The days blurred into each other. The nights were long and filled with shadows. By day 20, her body was frail. By day 30, she had lost over 40 pounds. Her skin was cracked and raw from the sun. Her lips split from dehydration. But her spirit refused to break. She journaled her thoughts. She whispered to herself. She focused on the smallest victories. A fish caught, a sip of rainwater, a sunrise that promised one more chance. By day 40, she was close to death, weak, barely able to lift her head, her voice a faint whisper, and then hope. One morning, Tammy spotted something on the horizon. A white speck. She blinked, rubbed her eyes. She had hallucinated ships before. Could this be another cruel trick of her mind? But no, the speck grew larger. A ship, summoning her last reserves of energy. She grabbed her emergency mirror, tilting it toward the sun and flashing desperate signals. She waved her arms, trembling with exhaustion. And then movement. The ship changed course. It was coming toward her. Rescuers leaned over the rails, shouting. Ropes were lowered. Life jackets tossed. Tammy clutched the line with shaking hands, every muscle screaming, and finally collapsed into safety. She had survived. When she woke in the hospital, Tammy was safe but forever changed. Richard was gone, his life claimed by the storm. The grief was unbearable, but she had made it. She went on to write her memoir, Red Sky and Morning, which later became the 2018 film Adrift. Her story remains one of the most extraordinary testaments to human endurance ever recorded, and that's the lesson hidden in Tammy's journey. Life will throw storms at us, unexpected, violent, and merciless. There will be days when everything seems broken, when the people we love are gone, when the future feels like nothing but endless waves. But in those moments, remember Tammy. Remember that survival doesn't come from strength alone, it comes from refusing to quit, even when every reason says you should. So whatever storm you're facing in your own life, never give up. Keep moving, keep believing, keep fighting for one more sunrise. Thank you for staying with me through this journey tonight. I hope Tammy's story reminds you of the power of resilience, of holding on when it feels impossible. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. It helps us bring you more incredible true stories from history and beyond. And as always, take care of yourself, and remember, never give up. Good night, and thank you for watching.